Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really jumping into the captivating world of royal fashion. Specifically, we're focusing on Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales. We've gathered, well, a whole collection of insights, looking at observations, articles, you name it, all about her style. From those huge royal events right down to her, pretty casual outings. Our mission really is to unpack what makes her such a modern fashion icon, and also to understand that ripple effect her choices seem to have globally.
Exactly. And as we look through all this, you'll see pretty quickly her outfits aren't just, nice clothes. They often tell a story. It's this mix of tradition, modernity, and sometimes actually a quite surprising economic impact. We'll definitely talk about the designers behind her most memorable looks, and you'll really get a sense of this recurring thing, the Kate effect.
Okay, so let's dive right in then. If we're talking about when people really started paying attention to her style, we kind of have to start at the beginning, right? The engagement announcement back in 2010, she came out in that blue wrap dress. It seems simple, but it was really striking. What was it about that dress, that moment?
Oh, the impact was, well, astonishing
Mm.
and immediate. That dress, the one by Issa London, reports say it sold out in like 5 minutes. Just incredible. Women everywhere wanted it. And then, boom, tons of cheaper copies started appearing. But here's the fascinating part, maybe the less talked about part. While it absolutely kicked off the whole Kate effect, it had this really unexpected, almost tragic downside for the brand itself.
Oh, really? What happened?
Issa London, the brand. They just couldn't keep up. The demand was overwhelming, production costs skyrocketed. And sadly, they ended up closing in 2015. It's kind of a stark reminder, isn't it, that huge, sudden attention sounds great, but it can actually cripple a smaller business that isn't ready for that kind of scale, especially with manufacturing and supply chains. It really shows that double-edged sword of intense public focus.
Wow, yeah. That's a really powerful point about those hidden consequences. Okay, but moving on to maybe her most watched fashion moment ever, the royal wedding. April 29, 2011. I mean, the whole world was watching. And when she stepped out, that gown was just breathtaking. Designed by Sarah Burton for Alexander McQueen, right? High lace neck, long sleeves, that incredible skirt. What was the sort of thinking behind that design?
Well, it immediately drew comparisons to Grace Kelly's wedding dress, which tells you something about its classic feel. And Clarence House actually put out a statement back then. They said that the Duchess specifically wanted to blend, royal tradition with a more modern feel for her wedding look. And I think everyone agrees. She absolutely nailed it. It felt both regal and somehow really fresh.
Yeah, definitely. But beyond just how beautiful it looked, I remember reading there were some really thoughtful, sort of hidden details in the dress.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of people might not know this, but the lace, it wasn't just pretty, it was incredibly meaningful. Made by the Royal School of Needlework, it actually had the national flowers of all 4 UK nations woven in. So you've got the English rose, the Scottish thistle, the Irish shamrock, and the Welsh daffodil,
Yeah.
all subtly there.
That's amazing.
And for her, something old, she wore the Cartier halo tiara, which used to belong to the Queen Mother. So it's a lovely nod to history and family, literally stitched into the fabric of the day.
Such incredible detail. Okay, so beyond those huge, iconic moments, Kate's also known for strategically re-wearing outfits, and her versatility going from super glamorous to, pretty casual chic, like that turquoise Jenny Packham gown. She wore it first to a London Olympics gala in 2012. It had those lace-cap sleeves, the crystal belt, apparently modified from the runway version for a bit more modesty. But then she wore it again in 2018 for the Tusk Conservation Awards. Why do that, do you think? What's the message?
Yeah, it's a fascinating choice, isn't it? And she even changed it up slightly the second time. Her hairstyle was different down instead of the updo she had the first time.
Yeah.
And, beyond just seeming relatable, doing this consistently, it sends a powerful signal. We live in this age of fast fashion, always needing something new. So when a global figure like her champions wearing things again, it makes it, well, not just okay, but actually chic. It's not just an excuse not to buy a new dress, like some reports said. It feels more like a quiet statement about sustainability, maybe, thoughtful consumption.
Absolutely. It makes re-wearing feel normal, which is great. Another good example is that white and blue poppy print dress from L.K. Bennett. She wore it in Brisbane in 2014 and then again in Luton, England, a couple of years later in 2016. What's the story with her and L.K. Bennett? It seems like she wears them a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely a recurring theme. L.K. Bennett seems to be a real go-to for her. You see with those signature beige patent heels she's worn countless times, but also dresses, bags, lots of pieces over the years. It just shows they consistently deliver that sort of classic, elegant style that works for her.
And it's not just the fancy events where she makes an impact. She somehow manages to be stylish even when she's dressed down. Like, remember that visit to the Natural History Museum in June 2021? She wore that salmon-colored Chloe blazer, which, okay, wasn't cheap, like $2,500, but with a white top, jeans, and sneakers. What was going on there? How did she make casual look so polished?
Right, the context is important there. She was there for the Urban Nature Project, meeting school children. So comfort was definitely key. But even then, she elevated it. That blazer, yes, but also the small details. A delicate gold necklace, I think it was Daniela Draper, and little gold hoops. It just proved that casual doesn't mean sloppy. A good blazer can really pull an everyday outfit together.
She also seems quite willing to look beyond just British designers when the occasion calls for it, like that short sort of retro Gucci dress she wore for the Victoria and Albert Museum opening in June 2017. It was tweed, had that bright ribbon frim, the button details, matched clutch chunky heels. Why Gucci then?
Well, I think that shows her strategic thinking again. Wearing Gucci, a major Italian fashion house. It felt perfectly fitting for opening new galleries at the V&A, which is, famous for its massive fashion collection. It's like a subtle nod to the event, to the institution itself, acknowledging global fashion while still representing the UK.
Interesting. And speaking of trying new designers, she wore Kate Spade for the first time back in 2016 for World Mental Health Day. A pink tie-neck dress. How did the brand react to that?
Oh, Kate Spade was thrilled. They put out a statement saying she embodies all of the qualities of the Kate Spade New York girl, describing her as quick, curious, playful, and strong, which is quite nice praise. That dress, a sort of chiffon rose print one, cost around $498, and she paired it with, guess what, an L.K. Bennett clutch. So good fit for both the brand and her, it seems.
And for a really festive look, remember the Royal Air Force Christmas party in 2018? She wore a new Amelia Wickstead plaid skirt, bright red tartan, paired it with black boots, a black cropped cardigan, diamond earrings. What was the significance there?
Looking at the bigger picture, that bright plaid really did stand out. There's speculation she might have taken a cue from Queen Elizabeth II, who famously wore bright colors to be easily seen and lift spirits. And think about the event, a Christmas party for military families, many with loved ones deployed. That vibrant, cheerful outfit probably did help brighten the mood. It shows fashion can be about connection, too.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the Kate effect just keeps rolling on, doesn't it? We saw it big time with that incredible gold Jenny Packham gown she wore to the James Bond premiere in September 2021. No Time to Die. Covered in sequins and beads with that dramatic cape. I mean, that really did send jaws dropping. What happened after she wore that?
Oh, the impact was immediate and massive.
Yeah.
The retailer Pretty Little Things said searches for gold sequin dresses jumped by 550% right after, which is just wild. And if you had the cash, you could actually buy a version of that gown from Jenny Packham's 007 collection for about $500.
Oh.
So, yeah, her influence is undeniable. She sets trends, she drives sales just by showing up.
Incredible numbers. Okay, and then there's Royal Ascot, always a big fashion event. In 2019, she wore that powder blue Ali Saab dress, remember. Pussy bow tie, chiffon skirt, lovely sheer details on the sleeves, very elegant, very appropriate. But she also had that huge Philip Treacy floral hat. How on earth did she manage that? Ascot can be windy.
Yes, those hats are a challenge. But she handled it with typical grace. The trick seemed to be wearing it at quite a specific angle, tilted off to the side, which cleverly showed off the braided hairstyle she had underneath. And she paired it all with metallic silver heels and a matching clutch. Just really elegant and, well, thought through, even down to the hat angle.
It's that attention to detail. Her wardrobe really does seem to blend practicality with that necessary royal poise. Even on less flashy occasions, like her solo trip to Luxembourg in 2017, she was acting as a sort of Brexit ambassador then. She wore that pastel blue Amelia Wickstead kurt dress, blazer top swingy skirt. It managed to look dressy, but also businesslike. Almost a bit 50s vintage, but kept modern with her hair and those beige pumps she loves.
Exactly. It bridges that gap really well.
Yeah.
Or think about Princess Eugenie's wedding in October 2018. Kate wore that berry-colored Alexander McQueen dress. People noted it was almost identical to a pink one she'd worn before. And she had that matching fuchsia Philip Treacy headpiece, which, rather amusingly, she literally had to hold on to because it was so windy.
Right. Even royals have to battle the elements sometimes. And even Christmas Day, the church walk in 2019, that was the first time George and Charlotte came along, she wore that gray Catherine Walker coat. Fur trim, belted, military buttons, full skirt, looked so cozy. And she coordinated perfectly with Charlotte's little green coat. Underneath, apparently, it was a Michael Kors dress she'd worn before. It's not just the big events, though, is it? Even everyday things.
You're absolutely right. School drop-offs are apparently not exempt from stylish planning. When Princess Charlotte started school in September 2019, Kate wore a belted floral shirt dress by Michael Kors. And the interesting thing is, people realize she'd only really been seen in it once before, in a paparazzi photo, driving to Harry and Meghan's wedding rehearsal.
Yeah. And the really clever part, the dress had a red, white, and blue floral print, which perfectly matched George and Charlotte's navy and red school uniforms. It just goes to show she's always thinking about the visual of the photo op, making even a mundane task like the school run feel a bit special, a bit coordinated.
So wrapping up this deep dive then, it really is clear, isn't it? From that instant sellout with the Issa dress right through to her thoughtful rewears. Kate Middleton's fashion is this incredible mix: tradition, modern style, and really strategic communication. We've seen how designers like McQueen, Johnny Packham, Issa, L.K. Bennett, Wickstead, Michael Kors, so many have helped shape that iconic image.
And if you look at the bigger picture, her choices show this really careful balancing act. It's her personal taste, yes, but also her royal duties, and definitely an understanding of her global platform. She uses fashion almost like, well, like nonverbal communication, to connect, to send messages. Which really brings up a question for you, listening at home, to think about. In this world of fast fashion, always needing the next new thing, what message does someone like Kate send when she does rewear outfits? Or when she champions both those super high-end designers and more affordable pieces? What does all this consistent style storytelling really mean for the future of the royal image? And maybe even for that bigger conversation about sustainability and fashion?
Some really interesting things to ponder there. Thank you so much for joining us on the Deep Dive today. We hope this look into Kate Middleton's style has given you some food for thought. We definitely encourage you to keep exploring this fascinating links between public image and personal style. Maybe even think about the stories your own choices tell.